National Security Advisor John Bolton's trip to Turkey was cut short after the country's president refused to meet him. Earlier this week, Bolton met with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. He seemed to break with President Trump's plans to pull out all U.S. troops from Syria. Bolton said that would happen only if the conditions on defeating ISIS were met and assuring that the safety of Kurdish fighters also could be met, who are allied with the U.S. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that Bolton made a, quote, serious mistake when he said that. Erdogan also said that Turkey cannot accept or swallow the National Security Advisor's message on the Kurds. Well, this now puts the U.S. and its ally in an escalating conflict over the presence of American troops in Syria. Nicholas Heras is in Washington. He's a Middle East security fellow at the Center for a New American Security. Nicholas, how significant is this snub from one of our NATO allies?
This is a major slap in the face, not only to National Security Advisor Bolton, but the Trump administration. And the comments that President Erdogan has made in the wake of his decision not to meet Bolton are even more egregious. Erdogan said that the United States' closest partner in the counter-ISIS fight in Syria, the Syrian Democratic Forces Coalition, did not actually fight ISIS, that it was all a hoax. That's a massive blow and slap to the face of our U.S. and other coalition forces fighting with the SDF against ISIS.
So Erdogan says that Ankara will not make any concessions in assuring the safety of Kurdish fighters. So can you just give us sort of a sense here of the conflict here between Turkey and the Kurds and why this is so significant for Turkey?
Fundamentally, Turkey believes that the Syrian Kurds are acting on behalf of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, which is a Kurdish separatist movement based in eastern Turkey. Turkey has fought a war against the Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, for over 3 decades. And Erdogan believes that by working with Syrian Kurds and other partners against ISIS in Syria, the United States is in fact establishing a safe haven for the PKK to launch attacks against Turkey from Syria. But that's simply not the case. The U.S. military has consistently, since 2014, when it began working with Syrian Kurds and others against ISIS in eastern Syria, made sure that Turkey's national security concerns were met. U.S. forces and other coalition partners monitor the Syrian-Turkish border, and they have a strong finger on the pulse of the intentions of the Syrian Kurds, and it's to fight ISIS, not to fight Turkey.
You know, this is one of the conditions that John Bolton had actually laid out for troop withdrawal in Syria. Why do the Kurds, their fate, matter so much to the United States?
It is no doubt that the Kurds have been one of the best local, non-state partners to the U.S. military in the modern era. Many U.S. military leaders have said that they wouldn't be able to have executed the counter-ISIS campaign in Syria without cooperating with the Kurds and others, including Arabs, against ISIS. So this is a matter of importance because the United States wants to continue to take a by, with, and through approach to work with local partners in areas of the world where there is no state actor or state military force that you can partner with. If the U.S. walked away and allowed the Syrian Kurds to be massacred by Turkey, that would send a signal to other potential partners in the future that they can't trust the Americans.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is making rounds across the Middle East and to put pressure on Iran. How could the U.S. be successful in its anti-Iran campaign and strengthening relations with these countries when there's this confusion over President Trump's plan to withdraw troops in Syria?
Fundamentally, the Trump administration has to make a choice. Iran has entrenched itself in many areas of the core Middle East. It has entrenched itself in Syria, it's entrenched itself in Iraq, it's entrenched itself in Lebanon, it's increasingly entrenching itself in Yemen. This is not something that's easily reversed. You can't overcome Iran by military means. You need a massive diplomatic push. The problem is, whenever you have all these mixed messages that are coming from the White House, regional partners don't know who speaks for the president or even what the president's intentions are.
I want to ask you about these reports that Iran has been detaining a U.S. Navy veteran since July. The State Department says that they're aware of the reports. Is this a difficult position for the Secretary of State, especially as he's trying to ramp up White House pressure on Iran at this point?
Iran has made no disguise about its intentions that many Americans that travel to Iran it considers to be foreign agents and spies. This is part of an ongoing shadow war between the United States and Iran. The challenge for the administration moving forward is that with all the pressure it's trying to apply on Iran, it really does depend on regional partners to execute that. And it doesn't seem to have a clear strategy to do that.
Nicholas Heras, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.